Welcome to the AmeriCorps on the Frontline program. My name is Emily Pratt. I'm going to be your primary contact this year as you serve as an AmeriCorps member. Today I'd like to provide you with a basic overview of the AmeriCorps on the Frontline program. Feel free to take notes as you watch this video. And then if at any time during your service you have questions, you can feel free to contact me by email or phone. The Education Alliance is a statewide nonprofit organization that provides programs for public schools and advocates for legislative changes for students. AmeriCorps on the Frontline is our dropout prevention initiative. Did you know nearly 1 in 10 students in West Virginia drop out? This means that in the next 10 years, 28,000 students will not complete high school. High school graduates make twice as much money over the course of their lifetime as their counterparts who do not graduate. There are 3 indicators that tell us whether a student is going to graduate high school or not. They're called the ABCs of dropout prevention. A stands for attendance, B stands for behavior, and C stands for course performance. AmeriCorps on the Frontline is our dropout prevention initiative that helps students that are struggling in those ABCs. You are one of 40 members from across the state that are helping improve student attendance, behavior, and course performance. I'd like to share with you an example from a past member as she tells you what a day in the life of an AmeriCorps member is like.
I am finishing my 2nd term with AmeriCorps. I've been at Milton Middle School. I work for AmeriCorps. As an AmeriCorps member, you are a volunteer. You are not an employee. It is not a job. It is a service that you provide that would not otherwise be provided. With AmeriCorps on the front lines, you're providing service. Our goal is to keep kids from wanting to drop out. It's a dropout prevention program. I really just make sure my bag that I carry to and from home to the school every day is organized and put back together the way I need it for when I get here. When my daughter had started pre-K here in Milton, there was no daycare. So I had quit my state job that I'd had for 11 years and thought I would just be a school mom. And that was okay for her while she was in school. But after she went to kindergarten and had just a really full day schedule, I found myself kind of didn't have enough to do. I got a email saying that she was looking for an email for someone else, and this is the opportunity she was wanting to propose to them. And I said, I would love to do something like that, but I wanted to serve the school that had served me. So that was my major drive. Having a daughter of my own, having helped raise my nephew who is now 22 and just newly became a father, I wanted to give back. So many people had given back to me through my junior high, high school, and college years that I wanted to do that for them. Usually when I come in here in the library and I go into the conference room and I set my stuff down and kind of get myself organized for the day. Just make sure I have pencils for kids who might not have a pencil. I keep pencils and erasers, just anything they might need, and I like to make sure I have what my kids are going to need. And then I set off and I have breakfast with the kids and just chat with them, see if anybody needs anything first thing. And I kind of sit down, look at my list of who I've seen most recent, who I think might need me, or I might have talked to their teachers and they said, you know, they have a certain project going on. And from there I kind of choose which classrooms I'm going to go into. I spend the first 4 periods of the day in classrooms.
So, do you have your log caught up?
Yeah, every day except for today's because the sex, the date of birth, the egg baby's name, and the egg parent's name, which is my name. And then the babysitting log.
And making him catch his up. You still needed to catch yours up.
Mine was caught up all late that day.
No, that was Monday, April 3rd. You still like the stack of blocks?
Yeah, the bottom part of the blocks. You just count along of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
So that was 5.
Oh, okay, I get it.
And there's 2 on the sides, so that'd have been 2.
Right, and then 3 up the top,
the length, so it would have been 1, 2, 3.
Oh, wow, okay.
We don't count these because they don't count as the length. That's just the top of the cube.
Right. Well, and it matches the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, they're.
Who's going to need me? Who needs me first? What happened at home last night? Who's going to show up? I guess that's probably the very first thing. And that's kind of where I start. That's what helps me decide who and where I'm going first thing.
She helps me with my homework because sometimes I don't understand it and I need extra help with it. And whenever I don't have time to finish it in class and they give me homework for it, sometimes I'll just come to Miss Erin.
The kids are considered at risk. And they are considered at risk based on 3 criteria, the A, B, and C. A is attendance, B is behavior, and C is coursework. So we try to give them a new way of thinking and getting through what might be an obstacle for them.
Because there's kids that need extra help in the class that teachers can't focus all on them and get the other kids behind. My friend Dakota Sovine, and he's actually improved a lot, somewhat.
Sometimes every day can be a success story. The fact that a student showed up for the second day in a row, or they had their homework, that they had the previous day's assignment done. I try not to make large, lofty goals for the students. I try to make every day attainable, just because so many of them see just getting up and coming to school as such an obstacle, whether they just don't like to be here, they don't want to get up, they don't want to have the responsibility. So I try to have them see that getting here and getting each of those assignments done and how much the teachers do really care. I mean, they may have 20 to 23 kids or so per classroom, but they truly care about each one of them. I love helping the students. We call it getting obstacles out of our way. When they come with a math problem, or whether it's an assignment or a personal problem, I really enjoy helping them work through. They probably get tired of hearing me say, let's problem solve, but I feel like that's the best word for them to have in their vocabulary.
She's awesome.
She's awesome.
This year you have 5 responsibilities that you should complete. They include mentoring students, connecting to the County Dropout Prevention Plan, recruiting volunteers, planning national service projects, and collecting data to document program success. I'm going to provide you with more details on each of these tasks so you know exactly what to do. For task number 1, mentoring students. Over the next few weeks, you should identify your students, send home permission slips, and enroll them for program participation. You might be asking yourself, what is mentoring? Mentoring is providing quality time with a student using structured activities that help them develop skills and assets. There are 4 specific types of assets we would like for you to develop in your students' lives. First, strengthening their commitment to learning. You can use career exploration to make learning real life for them. Second, develop positive values. Use scenarios and role play to talk to your students about subjects like honesty and responsibility. Third, building social competencies. You can use interactive games to teach skills like anger management. And fourth, create positive identity. You should identify talents and interests in your students to give them a sense of purpose and develop confidence. This year, you should serve a total of 18 students. You can provide them with both group and individual mentoring. Each student should receive at least 20 mentoring sessions, and the mentoring sessions should last 30 minutes long. You should work with the school to identify your students and make sure that they meet the criteria to enroll. For a student to enroll for attendance, they should have 5 or more days absence. Behavior, 3 or more discipline referrals, or 1 or more suspensions or expulsions. And course performance, they should have less than a 2.5 GPA. After you identify your students, you should send home permission slips. There are 2 different types of permission slips that you can use, which are included in your member handbook. You can use a passive permission slip or an active permission slip. A passive permission slip means that you can send home the permission slip, and as long as you do not receive a copy back, then that student can participate. With an active permission slip, every single child who is enrolled in the program should return a slip. You need to work with your school to know what kind of permission slip they would like to use. After you send home permission slips, you're ready to enroll your students for program participation. You're going to do this online on the mentoring session report. In order to enroll them, you will need to know the student's WEVIS student number, the date of the permission slip, the risk factor that they're identified for program participation, and then have data from last year that proves that student qualifies to be enrolled. In the next few weeks, you should go ahead and start identifying your students and getting to know them. Then in October, we will provide you with more information during the training on how to be an effective mentor. Now moving on to task number 2. Connect to the dropout prevention plan in your school and county. You should start by asking yourself a couple questions. What is my county and school already doing for dropout prevention? And how do I fit within that plan? After you answer these questions, you should go ahead and start introducing yourself to key people in the community. People to think about are the attendance director, juvenile justice system, community members, and anyone else who is interested in keeping kids in school. After you do this, go ahead and start getting involved in dropout prevention activities around your community. Task number 3, recruit volunteers. Each AmeriCorps member should recruit at least 8 volunteers to support your dropout prevention efforts. You can have somebody serve one time to somebody who serves weekly to support your school. Some examples of past volunteers include speakers on different careers or areas that the kids are interested, people who are donating goods like school supplies that your kids might need, to somebody who does something more creative like being a pen pal. So just think outside the box and find somebody who are supporting and meeting the needs that you have. You're going to also be reporting on the volunteers who you leverage on the mentoring session report. You're going to need to know every month how many volunteers you have and how many hours they provided. Task number 4, plan national service projects. Each AmeriCorps member is required to plan at least 2 service projects during their term. These projects should be completed in honor of MLK Day, which happens in January, and a spring project that is in honor of either National Volunteer Week or AmeriCorps Week. You can complete these projects either in a group or individually and should be creative when creating your project. A couple examples of past projects include school beautification projects all the way to somebody that serves in a local food bank. So it's anything that's really supporting your local community. You're going to be responsible for both enrolling this project and providing report data on it, so make sure to collect that information. Task number 5, collecting data. You're going to be responsible for reporting data on the students that you serve. You must enroll your students in the mentoring session report as we talked about earlier. In some counties, this enrollment process is completed by one person across the entire county, and in other counties, each individual mentor completes the data. Please make sure you know who's going to do that in your county. Also remember that student data is always considered to be confidential and should never be shared. In addition to enrolling your students, you will on a monthly basis be required to report the number of mentoring sessions that you provide to those students. We use this data to enhance our program effectiveness throughout the course of the project. So, over the next few weeks, there are a couple tasks that you should be working on. So for task number 1, mentoring students, go ahead and identify your students, enroll them, and start to get to know them. Task number 2, connecting to the dropout prevention plan, figure out what your role is within the bigger picture. Task number 3, recruiting volunteers, go ahead and think about those people that might be a good volunteer or speaker. Task number 4, plan service projects, figure out what you want to do for your service project and who you want to work with. And task number 5, collect data to document program success. figure out who in your county collects enrollment data. Thank you for your service, and we look forward to meeting you at the first training in October.